This is construction number 13. Given 3 segments, construct a 4th segment so that the 4 segments are in proportion. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to give you the steps, talk you through it, and then I'll go through an actual construction. The first step is you draw an angle. So what you're going to do is draw an angle. And you actually might want to use a straight edge, and I'm going to be using a straight edge here. So draw one segment of the angle, one side of the angle, draw the other side of the angle. Then what you're going to do on one side using your compass is mark off A plus B. So using your compass, you measure the length of A. And again, I'm just doing this as a sketch. I'm going to walk you through the entire construction in a little bit. So using your compass, mark off A. And then mark off the length of B. Now what you're going to do, so then on the other side, you're going to mark off the length of C. Now using your straight edge, you're going to take and you're going to draw a segment from the end of where A ended to where C is. And then you're going to construct a parallel to that segment that you just drew in. So you're going to copy the angle. Go through, make your mark. Go through over here, make your mark. Then you measure how big the angle is. So put your stationary point there, pencil there. And using that same setting, don't move your compass at all. And again, I'm going to go through an actual construction with you. I'm just walking you through and explaining why now. Mark off your segment length. Now you've copied that segment length. So take your segment, go from the end of where you marked B through that point, intersecting the other segment. That segment I'm going to call X. And we know that A over C is going to be equal to B over X because I had parallel lines. So therefore, these segments are in proportion. Now I'm going to walk you guys through the steps using an actual compass and straight edge. So now be patient with me. If I make little mistakes, I'm sorry. First step, we drew our angle. I'm going to draw it nice and big. It doesn't matter what measure the angle is. Now, you use your compass. And what you're going to do is you're going to use your compass to measure the length of A. So put the stationary part there. Measure out the length of A. We'll move it down a little bit. Rotate it a little bit to see. Oh, that's perfect. So I like to do a little mark. That's kind of showing me your work. Now take your compass. And that's A. Now take your compass and measure the length of B. I hope my compass is long enough. I think it should be. Ah, yes, it is. Woo, just made it. So now, mark off B on right adjacent to A. So now, what you have here is we have A and B. On the other angle, mark off C on the other side of the angle. So take your compass, make it a little bit smaller, rotate it up so that I get the length of C. I get the length of C. I copied that segment here. Now what you do is using your straight edge. So I'm going to use my line tool. Connect the end of A to where C was. Now I need to draw a parallel line. So I need to copy the angle. And just so that you guys realize, this here, that segment there is C. So now we need to copy that angle. So I'm going to use my compass to copy the angle. Let's change its color to blue so you guys can see when I'm copying the angle. So copy an angle. You set your compass to a setting, go through and mark off. Using that same setting, go through, mark off. I like to make big marks. Make sure it goes through vertex. Now using your compass, you're going to measure how big that angle is. So I'm going to take this over here. I'm going to measure how big that angle is. I'm going to take it over here. I'm going to make it a little bit less. Rotate it up. Now, mark that off. Using that same same measurement, not membership, take and put your stationary point down. Mark off your segment. Now using your straight edge or your line, one endpoint goes there, the other endpoint goes through where the intersection of the two arcs were. Now hopefully you have a segment, they look parallel. Again, you guys have the correct marks. So I will give you credit for it, though it doesn't look very parallel. But this is X. So therefore I know that A over B is equal, I should say, I apologize, I made a mistake here. A over C is equal to B over X. So that is in proportion.